Take a look at these sizzling beefy patties. There are 16 ingredients in this Impossible Burger. Meanwhile, this patty has 1. The ingredient list alone is an easy explanation for why plant-based beef can be more than 80% more expensive per ounce than animal beef. Lowering prices was always part of the plan for companies like Impossible Foods, and getting enough people to eat plant-based meat was a way in. Just a few years ago, it seemed like plant-based meats were everywhere.
When we rolled out the Impossible Burger, it was gangbusters.
But the breakout moment quickly turned into a battle. So-called smear campaigns and an all-out fight for market share slowed the plant-based boom.
There's almost like this fight between like the meat products versus the plant-based products. And we don't need that fight.
With demand slowing, plant-based burgers, chicken nuggets, and sausages still cost way more than the real things. So what happened to the meteoric rise of plant-based meat? And why is it still so expensive? Plant-based meat began gaining ground in the 2010s, sparking fierce competition to better mimic the real thing. At the time, Beyond and Impossible Foods were 2 of the biggest names in the plant-based meat industry, creating products specifically targeting meat eaters. But doing so cost a lot of money. When Business Insider filmed Beyond's facilities in 2018, we saw firsthand the science behind its signature burger. The company tests how closely products match real beef down to the last detail. They even get blood stains on their white coats, just like butchers do. But these are from beets, which get dehydrated to add realistic color. The patty endures a few tests, including this meat X-ray, which analyzes how the Beyond Burger compares to beef. It's then pressed into a machine that tests the chew and mouthfeel of the burgers. The main protein in Beyond Burgers comes from peas, which are prone to supply chain and price fluctuations. Some Impossible products rely on soy protein, as well as an ingredient called heme. It's the molecules derived from soy that help give Impossible Burgers that meaty taste. It requires high-tech fermentation, specialized equipment, and expensive labor. All this pricey testing seemed to have paid off. By 2018, Beyond and Impossible Burgers were being sold in more than 6,000 restaurants and grocery stores across the United States.
People were just showing up at our restaurants in droves to try this product. It was amazing.
That's Euripides Pelikanos, CEO of Bear Burger, the first fast casual chain to put the Impossible Burger on its menu back in 2017.
When we rolled out Impossible Burgers or Beyond and other companies, there was a higher cost to buy these products and to serve these products. And that cost still remains.
But since the restaurant introduced the Impossible Burger, plant-based options have been a mainstay for its brand.
This is for our vegan and plant-based options. All our animal or other proteins are cooked on their main grill.
Misha has been Bear Burger's culinary director since 2010. He showed us how he cooks the Impossible Standard, Bear Burger's best-selling plant-based burger.
The goal is to get a nice sear on it. Now we're going to add caramelized onions. We're going to season it with our house seasoning. We're going to add our oak no cheddar. We're going to cover and steam.
There was a time where Impossible Burgers were almost 20% of our menu sales, which is pretty remarkable.
That's the Impossible Standard.
Bear Burger wasn't the only one experiencing the spike in sales. When Burger King rolled out the Impossible Whopper in 2019, it was such a huge hit that Burger King's CEO noted it has quickly become one of the most successful product launches in Burger King's history. As plant-based meats were showing up in fast food chains, companies like Impossible and Beyond were tapping into rising health, environmental, and animal welfare concerns among consumers. Hundreds of millions of dollars worth of investments flooded in from businesses and celebrities alike.
You want that plant-based great taste fresh out the oven.
By 2019, nearly half of Americans had tried plant-based meat. That same year, when Beyond went public, its stock prices rose by over 160%. With demand skyrocketing, the industry seemed ready to scale to a point where it could lower prices and have a fighting chance to compete with the meat industry. However,
meat producers have all the advantages of economies of scale because they have experience. They're producing so many products, they're saving on that. They have very efficient production processes. Then there are also subsidies.
While the impact of government funding on meat prices is debated, these subsidies have been far more concentrated in the meat industry than the plant-based sector. An analysis of USDA subsidies shows that between 1995 and 2021, roughly $49.6 billion went to livestock producers through various programs, which is an average of about $2 billion a year. By comparison, from 2018 to 2021, the USDA has spent less than $30 million supporting alternative proteins, including plant-based foods. Still, by 2021, Impossible Foods was able to lower prices multiple times by at least 15% because of its successful sales. As the popularity of plant-based meat grew, some conventional meat companies created their own plant-based meat lines, while other meat industry groups decided to fight back. Take a look at this ad in a 2019 edition of the New York Times, calling plant-based meat ultra-processed imitations. And this ad featuring the slogan "Fake Meat, Real Chemicals," which ran in the Wall Street Journal and the New York Post. All of them were paid for by the Center for Consumer Freedom, or CCF, which launched a full-fledged campaign under the name Clean Food Facts. It draws attention to the long list of ingredients and processing used to make plant-based meat. While the CCF does not disclose its donors, it has confirmed it received funding from meat producers. And a major driver was Richard Berman. He and the CCF have worked on public campaigns for the alcohol, tobacco, and meat industries. Berman founded the CCF but left the organization several years ago. In 2020, the CCF ran a Super Bowl 54 commercial attacking meat alternatives.
Propylene glycol. It's a chemical used in antifreeze and synthetic meats.
It's not just the CCF, though. Meat industry groups such as the National Cattlemen's Beef Association and the Meat Institute have lobbied to tighten labeling laws on plant-based meat. Plant-based meat companies didn't back down. After the Super Bowl attack ad, Impossible quickly called attention to a Consumer Reports investigation that found fecal matter in ground beef. Impossible released a commercial of its own that parodied the Super Bowl spot.
And there's poop in the ground beef we make from cows.
Meanwhile, Beyond focused on reworking its burger recipe to cut down on fat and calories. A few years later, the company released a short film directly addressing the attack ads. But those early ads attacking plant-based meat came at a time when public opinion seemed to be shifting, particularly in recasting foods that had been marketed as healthy as ultra-processed.
There is a lot of debate if these products should be called ultra-processed or not, a term that sometimes makes me a little bit angry.
Ultra-processed foods undergo various processing methods, using refined ingredients and additives, which have been linked to obesity, cancers, and cardiovascular diseases. Some plant-based meats do fit into this category, but
overall, these products were a lot better than their animal-based counterparts. So, for example, they were better in terms of their energy density, they had lower saturated fats, they actually increased a lot of fiber.
A 2025 systematic review by Sarah and colleagues examined the nutritional, health, and environmental impacts of plant-based meats. She says the attack ads not only altered plant-based meat's reputation among consumers, but also muddled scientific evidence.
And it was a bit, I think, upsetting, almost just like all the evidence that we accumulated and that we worked so hard, it almost like gets diluted.
While the sales of plant-based meat initially increased during the COVID-19 pandemic, the industry struggled to keep its customers.
Something like COVID and experiencing something where you have such a lack of control over your health that manifested in people learning more about nutrients, about ingredients, about processing.
When there are some crises in the world, there's economic uncertainty, they become even more price sensitive.
In 2021, a Deloitte survey found that 68% of respondents who purchased plant-based meat believed it was healthier than animal meat. By 2022, that number had dropped to 60%. The hope of increasing demand, efficiency, and scale started to falter.
We saw the sales of those plant-based options on our menu, decrease. I would say they became, 30% of their height. So if it was 20% of our menu, it's now become 5% of our menu.
From 2021 to 2022, supermarket sales of refrigerated plant-based meat decreased by 14%. Some restaurants that initially embraced plant-based meat have since pulled those products from their menus. Impossible and Beyond also experienced layoffs. And Beyond stock from its record highs in 2019 plummeted more than 99% in 2025. The company announced it would increase its prices. Beef prices have also reached record highs. Impossible's former CEO noted in October 2025 that the company's products are priced similarly to premium meats like grass-fed organic beef. Aside from high costs, another problem companies need to address is improving taste, which could mean spending more money. According to consumer research, the taste of plant-based foods is a significant factor that stops people from regularly eating them.
A lot of innovation is going on and the products are becoming better and better. However, we base our expectation on this past experience rather than giving it a fair shot in the current environment.
So we put Beyond and Impossible's newest burgers in a blind taste test against a frozen beef burger.
I would say hamburgers are on my top 10 list of favorite things. I'm a little worried that plant-based meat will suffer in comparison.
What comes to mind when I think of plant-based meats? Kind of rubbery, to be honest.
I put it in a different category than regular meat. It's not supposed to taste exactly like that, so it's okay if it tastes different. It's just a different thing.
We first had them try a plain Impossible burger.
The texture I don't really love. Kind of tastes a little bit like what I imagine the inside of my sofa pillows tastes like.
I'm thinking that's meat. It tastes like meat. It didn't taste rubbery or fake at all.
It tastes close to real beef, yeah.
I definitely think this is one of the plant-based ones. It's sort of meaty, but it's not quite right.
Then they tasted a Beyond burger.
It definitely is closer to beef than the previous one. Maybe a more mild aftertaste than the other one, but still tastes like beefy, fatty, savory.
This one was blander, for sure. It was still good though. I liked what I ate. I was like, yum.
I like that. That's good. It has some juiciness even to it.
After 2 plant-based burgers, we gave them a frozen beef burger.
Could definitely be beef.
My guess is, based off what I just put in my mouth, is that that's some sort of frozen actual meat. It has pretty much no flavor. Sorry, it's kind of giving boo for me.
Tastes like this is the real beef, and it tastes worse.
I can tell that it's not the real thing, I don't think, compared to the second one. I would be shocked if the second one wasn't real beef. That would be crazy to me.
At the end, they chose their favorite burger and guessed which one was beef.
It's tough to pick between the second one and the third one, but I think it's this last one here is the tastiest.
So definitely one is my favorite. It definitely, to me, I think, tasted the most like a burger.
I think the third one was the real beef burger, because beef needs more help with the flavor.
I do believe that this one was the beef burger. I feel really confident about that.
I feel validated as a carnivore because that was my favorite, narrowly, but my favorite.
This one's real. The last one, this one was terrible. What type of real beef was this?
I am surprised. I thought that in a side-by-side, real beef was gonna beat out, and in fact, plant-based won for me by a lot.
I am shocked. Stop. That is delicious. Wow, y'all did your thing.
The results of our limited experiment suggest that meat doesn't always win over plant-based alternatives. This does actually mirror other, larger scale, and more scientific blind taste tests. In 2025, a nonprofit conducted a blind taste test with 2,600 participants. They compared more than 100 plant-based meats to real meat products. In those tests, 20 plant-based products met a key benchmark. At least 50% of tasters liked them as much as or more than the animal version. But getting people to try improved recipes is its own challenge. To add another layer of complexity, reformulating products to address health and taste concerns can also mean more expensive ingredients. Take Beyond's newly improved beef products, for example. In 2024, the company swapped out canola and coconut oils for avocado oil, which the company described as offering heart-healthy monosaturated fats and even meatier beefy flavor.
Avocado oil is so much more expensive than canola oil, so inherently that's like a big decision for the company to make.
This puts plant-based meats in a triple bind. Consumers say they want plant-based meat to taste better and use fewer ingredients, all while costing about the same or even lower than the real thing. To meet all of those benchmarks, some companies are betting on reinvention. Prime Roots is part of the next wave of plant-based meat companies prioritizing cleaner labels and better nutrition to address processing concerns. The company focuses on deli meats, a type of processed meat rarely seen in the plant-based space, but that's still riddled with the same health issues associated with the category.
We really wanted to have a disciplined approach to the market and really focus on a category that people weren't really focusing on. We like to say we like to deliver killer taste that doesn't kill you.
To make that promise possible, Prime Roots uses a fungi blend as the protein base of its products. The key ingredient is mycelium, a root-like network found in fungi that's catching on in the industry.
And it gives the products the umami taste, the meaty texture, all naturally. And it's a simple fermentation process. And then the fungi gets filtered out. And it's kind of like chicken breast, like in its base raw format.
They then mix in spices that match the specific meat they're mimicking and follow the same process as making deli meats.
The ham into a netting, the salami into a casing, and we roast the products and package them, and they go right into the delis where they get sliced fresh.
While Prime Roots aims to resemble meat, other plant-based meat companies are shifting away from mimicking meat altogether. In 2025, Beyond Meat revealed it was dropping meat from its name. It even introduced a line of protein drinks to rebrand as a broader plant-based protein source. Meanwhile, Impossible Foods is doubling down on marketing the meatiness of its products.
When the world says too much meat is bad and we should eat less of it, we say no, world. We should eat more.
In 2025, the company even teamed up with competitive eating champion Joey Chestnut, challenging him to eat 99 Impossible Nuggets.
99 Impossible Nuggets, 9 innings in one epic showdown.
As the industry evolves, leaning toward its inherent strengths seems to be a way forward.
There is always going to be this big push from, meat lobbyists and stuff like that against them, and there is also a huge demand for this to exist from, not just nutritionists but also vegetarians.
People have different tastes, different preferences, and therefore it's not about finding the replacement product that is like the meat killer, but rather offering a variety of options so that everybody can pick what they prefer.
For us, keeping plant-based meats on our menu, it's become a staple of our brand. Right? People expect it, so it'll always have a place on the menu.